Page 14, At-Tufah Al-Iraqiya. Any question? Inshallah, we try to have our brother to help us in doing a whole schedule for every class. So we have the breaks because we have the 2 prayer, mashallah, and the break. And maybe if we try to, if we want to start, for example, the farthest with, or the, let's say, if we start at 4:15, inshallah ta'ala, maximum. And then we'll have to, and have the schedule from the beginning of the class, so we can move and we can have also session for the question, inshallah. Or you can write the questions, and we have them, at every end of the class, you can have the question, inshallah, to be answered. Inshallah. A good 15 minutes, inshallah, for Ameur Al-Qulub. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala illuminate our heart with the Iman, inshallah. Page 14, I think, and we have, in the book, we started with the types of the believers, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned them in Surah Fatir. قال we have ظالم لنفسه ومقتصد وسابق بالخيرات. The category or the types of the believer, ظالم لنفسه مقتصد وسابق بالخيرات. We did this, you know that, right? قال ثم أورثنا الكتاب الذين اصطفينا من عبادنا فمنهم ظالم لنفسه ومنهم مقتصد ومنهم سابق بالخيرات بإذن الله. The one who transgresses himself, he is still from the people of Iman. He is still from the people of Iman. At the beginning of page 14, وَأَمَا الظَّالِمُ نَفْسِ مِنْ أَهْلِ الْإِيمَانِ فَمَعَهُ من ولاية الله بقدر إيمانه وتقواه كما معه من ضد ذلك بقدر فجوره إذ الشخص الواحد قد يجتمع فيه الحسنات المقتضية للثواب والسيئات المقتضية للعقاب. This is a principle in the Ahl Sunnah wal Jamel. The Iman cannot be one block. It exists or doesn't exist. Iman increases and decreases. Therefore, someone, he will be rewarded based on the Iman and the action, resulted on that Iman faith that he has, and he will have punishment on the evil action resulted on the deviation he has when his Iman decreasing. So, he can be rewarded and punished. And this is the saying of all the companions of the Prophet ﷺ and the unanimous and consensus between all the scholars of Ahl Sunnah wal Jamel. Therefore, Al-Zalimu li nafsih, he might go to hellfire. He might end up in hellfire, but he will not stay for eternity in it. As in being said in the principle, قال لا يخلد في النار من في قلبه مثقال ذرة من إيمان. He will not be, abiding or will not be in hellfire for eternity. The one who has the seed, as small as the seed of an atom of Iman in his heart. For so those really who be deviated in their understanding and calling for deviation like Al-Khawarij wal-Mu'tazila, why? Because they have a principle in understanding of the Iman. The Iman is either exists or doesn't exist. And for them, committing a major sin void the Iman. And by voiding the Iman, therefore they don't have anything who will help them in the hereafter, then they will be forever in the hellfire. And this is wrong. This is not deep faith, and this is not Allah saying, nor the teaching of His Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. قال وينبني على هذا أمور كثيرة ولهذا من كان معه إيمان حقيقي فلا بد أن يكون معه من هذه الأعمال بقدر إيمانه. And this is based on which many of the things we can be resulted, that the fact that someone has a true Iman, therefore he will have true action, because Iman means action. Because the opposite of Al-Khawarij and the Mu'tazila are Al-Murji'ah. Al-Murji'ah, those who said, you will have Iman, whatever, when you have it in your heart, whatever bad action you do, it will not hurt your Iman. It will not hurt your Iman. And this is the opposite, and this is the opposite of the first saying, but it is also not from the path of Islam or the teaching of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because if someone has the small amount of Iman, he will act upon that Iman. So he has to have good deeds. Because Iman, reminding you, it's 3 or 4 elements that come together to fulfill the Iman. So the saying of the heart, the saying of the tongue, and the action of the heart, and the action of the body. To say it with the heart, accept it, and then prove it with the tongue by saying it. La ilaha illallah, accept it in the heart. Muhammad Rasulullah, say it with the tongue. And then act upon it with the heart. To love Allah, to trust Allah, to rely on Allah, to love His Prophet, to love the action of good, to dislike and hate the action of bad, etc., etc. And then to act upon it with someone's, with the body, to pray, to have, to do the Hajj, to do the fast, etc., etc. So that's the Iman. It's all one compact together. It increases and decreases. That's why the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned hadith here, قال كما روى البخاري في صحيحه عن عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله عنه أن رجلا كان يسمى حمارا وكان يضحك النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. A man used to have a last name Himar, and the Prophet ﷺ, every time he sees him, he make him laugh. And he used to drink alcohol. He was addicted to alcohol. وَيَجْلِدُهُ النَّبِيُّ. So every time he comes, he gonna be paying off what he did by being punished for what he did. But drinking alcohol didn't make him to be a non-believer. The action is bad, and he paid for his action, therefore he still believes. He still has a good heart. You don't reject him because of such a thing. So they used to come to the Prophet ﷺ, and the Prophet ﷺ would be laughing. He said again, okay, take him, and he's gonna be punished for what he did. Right. فأتي به مرة. One time they brought him, he was done. فقال رجل لعنه الله ما أكثر ما يؤتى به. May Allah curse him. This guy doesn't stop doing this. Every time they bring him. The Prophet ﷺ stopped this man. He told him, قال لا تلعنه. Do not curse him. فإنه يحب الله ورسوله. He loves Allah and His Messenger. His heart is filled with Allah, love of Allah and His Messenger. So don't accuse him. Don't, withdraw the Iman from him because you see him drinking. That action, he's being paid for it. But we cannot negate the Iman. In fact, this person loves Allah and His Messenger. And we know the other hadith. He said, the one he will be with whom he loved. So if this man loves Allah and His Messenger and comes in the Day of Judgment with sin, is he going to pay for it? If they were being expiated in the dunya or expiated during the grave, the life of the grave, or not forgiven by Allah, He's going to pay them in hellfire. And then he comes to the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فقال فهذا بين أن المذنب بالشرب وغيره قد يكون محبا لله ورسوله. So this is very clear evidence for us that someone who might be committing major sin, but he loves Allah and His Messenger. And the love of Allah and His Messenger is the strongest rope, is the strongest link of Iman. As the Prophet ﷺ said, the strongest rope of Iman is to love in Allah and to dislike in the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. كما استفاض في الصحاح وغيرها من حديث أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب وأبي سعيد الخدري وغيرهما عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وسلم أنه ذكر الخوارج. Now, you look at the other hand, people who pray all the time, read the Quran all the time, and the Prophet ﷺ said about them in the hadith of Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, he said, if you see them read the Quran, you really, you look at yourself that you're not doing anything. You compare yourself, you feel like, you're not doing anything compared to these people. قال يحقر نفسه, he's like he belittled himself when he's seeing these people. And this is what the Prophet ﷺ said. قال يحقر أحدكم, he belittled himself. He belittled his prayer when he see their prayer. He belittled his fasting when he see how they fast. His recitation of the Quran. But he said, what is their problem? قال يقرؤون القرآن لا يجاوز حناجرهم. They read the Quran, it doesn't go beyond their own throat. It doesn't get to the heart. It's like words. يمرقون من الإسلام كما يمرق السهم من الرمي. يمرق is like to pierce. See, when someone is like shooting with an arrow, a prey, and get into the prey and get out. So this is what they get from Islam. It's like they enter in Islam and they get out. They didn't take any wisdom from Islam. Only the surface. Only the action with no heart, with no soul, with no spirit. Because these people who killed Ali radiallahu ta'ala, and they were happy, they think they did great deeds. وهؤلاء قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أينما لقيتموهم فاقتلوهم. This type of people, whatever you see them, fight them. And he said, fighting them and even to, killing them, it is rewarded from Allah. Why? Because these people, they cause the biggest evil on earth. They represent themselves like, the pioneer of the deen of Islam, the defender of the deen of Islam. When they are hurting Islam from its core. Islam cannot be hurt, it belongs to Allah, but the society of Muslims. That's why the Prophet ﷺ, he said something shocking. He said, if I will be alive when they come, I will fight them, like fighting Ad wa Iram. Those are like, the disbeliever, the transgressor of people of God. قال لئن أدركتهم لأقتلنهم قتل عاد. Subhanallah. And these people, you see them all the time praying, all the time fasting. But when they see a believer who commit a small sin, they kill him. One of the son of the companion, they found him and they knew that he's the son of the companion. Not only they killed him because they heard that he was with Ali, but they killed his wife, she was pregnant. In the riwayah, she was maybe at the 7th month. And for them it was normal. Why they were fasting? وَلِذَلِكَ وَهَؤُلَاءِ قَاتَلَهُمْ أَصْحَابُ. And this type of people, the companion of the Prophet ﷺ, they fought them with Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, by the order and the command of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Therefore, this is to say, not the one who shows that he is so pious, that he is truly pious, and not the one that he's drinking, that he's an evil. And that's to teach us how important it is to be caring and kind and merciful in the way of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. ولهذا قال أئمة الإسلام كسفيان الثوري وغيره إن البدعة أحب إلى إبليس من المعصية. That's why the leader and the scholar of Islam like Sufyan al-Thawri and others, they say the bid'ah أحب إلى إبليس من المعصية. Innovation is dearer to Iblis than the sin. Because the bid'ah, people, they do not repent from the bid'ah, but they do repent from the sin. Because the bid'ah, you don't know that is infraction and a violation in the deen. Actually, people, they think that they're doing the bid'ah to get closer to Allah. And for the bid'ah is a long speech. If you have any question about the bid'ah, because I'm not going to give it in detail, please bring it in writing so we can, inshallah, talk about and answer your question about that. Our stop here is 9. We'll continue our At-Tufah Iraqiya, inshallah. And we'll come to the most important part, which is, the Ameur al-Batina, the inward action. How are those actions who govern and lead and beautify the action that we do in our life? Which is the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the sincerity, the love of His Prophet, the trust, all of that. How can we gain such a thing, inshallah? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to get to such beautification and illumination of the heart. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه هو الغفور الرحيم.